Welcome everybody to today's roadmap webinar from Fliplet. This is our update for Q3 2021. We do roadmap update webinars every 6 months, and usually it's my pretty face that you get to see presenting it. I'm Ian Broome. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Fliplet, and I'll be running you through today's slides for a bit of a change for those people who have attended other roadmap webinars. Don't worry, you'll be seeing some guests appearing in today's presentation, but I'll save the secret about who's going to be joining us for a little bit later on. Okay, today we're going to be covering off all the new features and app templates that we've recently launched. We're also going to be covering off planned features and new planned app templates. Then I'm going to cover a really brief overview of what we've got planning for 22. And then we're going to have some time for QA. So if you have any questions, you'll be able to submit them via our companion app. I'm sure a couple of people probably saw that coming. As I've mentioned already, for those people who were early joiners to the webinar, we've made a companion app, and the companion app is designed to help you get more out of this webinar. How could you possibly get more out of this webinar? I hear you asking, and that is a very good question. What we wanted to do is we wanted to build a little app that made it really easy for attendees to tell us, I want more information on this, please. Not only do we want to make it really easy for attendees to tell us what they wanted more information about, but we also wanted to give you something back for taking the time to complete the companion app. So what we've done, and this is going to be very relevant, particularly for the IT people attending today's webinar, we've created a PDF called the Fliplet App Actions Technical Overview. I told you the IT guys would like it. So the Fliplet App Actions Technical Overview goes into a lot more information about app actions, a really exciting new server-side feature that we've recently launched, and I'll be telling you more about it later on in the webinar. If you could please scan the QR code, and the QR code will be in the bottom corner of a lot of the slides. So if you're still getting your phone out or you're waiting for my colleague to send the web app link or the companion app link via Zoom chat, don't worry, it'll come up in a second. And then after you enter your email address on the first screen, you can click during the webinar. And basically, it just lists everything we're going to be talking about today. So all you need to do is just tick the things that you'd like more information about, and we'll do all the hard work in following up with you and making sure to kind of keep you informed about the things that you're interested in. Okay. I'm sure we all know how to use Zoom now, but just to be super cautious, you can engage with us in the Zoom chat at any time. You can see the green circle is highlighting the chat. I imagine you're probably seeing my slides and hopefully my pretty face on your screen and not just the text Ian Broome. So the screen might look a little bit different. Stay on mute and keep your camera off, partly so that you don't interrupt anybody else, but also partly because it is being recorded and you might not want to be part of the recording. But yeah, if you can participate and engage with us on chat, we'd really appreciate that, as well as engaging with the companion app. So let's dive into some of the new features. So let's start with gamification. So what is gamification? Gamification enables you to offer continuous onboarding and encourage usage inside your app with awards and leaderboards. So let me walk you through some of these screenshots. So the first screenshot, you can see here, it's got confetti. It looks a lot better when it's animated. There's confetti coming down the screen. The user has been given an award. It's very exciting. This is what users see when they achieve an award. This is what the awards look like. You can also, underneath the awards, if you scroll down here, it's got a leaderboard. So you can see here who is the top 25 contributors and also the top 25 commenters. These leaderboards can be changed. So if you have other actions in your app, like the people who have used ROMs to book the most and things like this, you can adjust these leaderboards. And of course, it wouldn't be Fliplet if you couldn't make your own awards or change the awards that come with the app template. So you can completely modify the awards via the admin screens. So in summary, awards are a really simple way to not only extend the onboarding process, but also to remind people, hey, you know, we've got this great feature where you can bookmark sessions. Have you tried it? If not, go and give it a go. And if you tap any of these, you get a little pop-up and it explains what it is. So it's a really great feature that clients that have deployed this have loved it. It's actually been one of their favorite features, mainly, I'll be honest, because of the confetti, but it also just makes a really dynamic, exciting feature for your app. This is currently available if you want to have a bit of a play with it in the communication app template, which was launched recently. Okay. App actions, as I promised you. This is going to be a very exciting feature, particularly for the more technical people on the call. So app actions are basically server-side automated or on-demand scripts. So what does that mean? Well, basically, it means that Fliplet server can now start to do things that you've customized and built into your apps automatically for you without you having to have a human interact with it. So for example, you can tell an app action to trigger it every night at midnight and send an email. We're going to be building this feature into ROMs very soon, which means that the dashboard of booking information will be automatically sent to office managers that want it, automatically at a time that you specify. We're also going to be using it for sending notifications. So this can be triggered, say, whenever a notification needs to be sent, such as at 9 a.m. every morning, send somebody a reminder, but it can also be used to do much more dynamic notifications as well. For example, hey, we've noticed that there's an error with your booking in ROMs, and we only noticed it now, and would you be able to go back and we'll send you a notification to go in and fix it. So app actions can basically be scheduled on the server. They can be scheduled for every 5 minutes, once an hour, once a day, once a week, however regularly you like, and then they can basically perform an action. One of the things that we believe a lot of marketing teams will get quite excited about is the fact that they can now import RSS feeds directly into data sources without having to do anything. They just configure the script with the URL and tell it which data source they want the data to go into. And that means the server-side script will now just start importing that information, for example, every day at 9 a.m. And what's even cooler is if it finds any new content in that RSS feed, if anybody in their user settings has requested notifications, we will now send them notifications as well. This can also be used not just for RSS feeds, but also APIs. We're currently doing an integration with Workday for a customer, and we're going to be using app actions to import the data from Workday, basically cutting out the reason why this particular customer needs to use the data integration service. You can also pre-process or post-process data. So what this means is, for example, every day you could go and get the latest weather information from a weather API and upload it into the office data source. So then when anybody looks at the offices, they're seeing the latest weather information. But you can also do it in reverse. So for example, let's say that somebody has checked in with ROMs into your office, but forgot to check out. You could then set up a script that at the end of every day just goes and finds everybody who hasn't checked out and automatically checks them out at midnight. You can also use it to remove old data that maybe you're not allowed to store anymore and is sensitive. And one of the things that we're using it for in the directory app, which I'll include in my demo of the directory new template in a second, is the ability to control access to data. So we've built a app action, and that app action is able to securely determine who's accessing it and what information they should be given access to in data sources. And we're using this to protect sensitive HR data from users and give it to other users who are allowed. More information, more technical, very low-level information is available on our developer site, developers.fliplet.com, and I suggest you just go there and search for actions and you'll find the page. As I've already mentioned, if you scan this little code and you complete the during the webinar screen after entering your email address, you will receive from us an extensive PDF document going into a lot more detail about app actions, answering all your technical questions, much more than the technical documentation covers. So if you're interested in learning more about app actions and you're not already using the companion app, please make sure you scan this, complete the during the webinar screen, and we will send you the detailed PDF after the webinar. So we've also got the Fliplet community. This was launched a couple of quarters ago. The Fliplet community is great because it enables us to very rapidly share latest features, upcoming webinars and events, talk about feature and support requests, and share ideas. And it's progressively getting more and more popular with more and more posts. Fliplet's customer success team has been using this quite extensively to share code snippets with customers. So again, if you haven't had a look, just go to community.fliplet.com and have a bit of a browse. If you want to sign up, which you'll need to do to get notifications, it literally takes, depending on how fast you can type, 10 seconds. It literally is like enter your email, give us a password, done. It doesn't collect any personal information about you in order to start using it. That was intentional. And what you can then do is when you go into a topic, you can go into, for example, latest news. And in the latest news, there's a bell over on the right-hand side, and you can tell it to send you automatically an email digest once a day. You can also, if you install the Discourse mobile app, you can ask, you can receive push notifications whenever anybody posts something new. Cool. So moving on, data source revisions. Just a quick time check. So data source revisions are a new feature that we've enabled inside data sources, which enable you to see the version history. You can also then preview the data, you can restore it, and you can copy that version to a new data source if you want to kind of use it. This is a really helpful feature when you're developing a new app. You want to give it to some test users. They obviously create a stack of different versions, and then you want to restore it back to maybe the original sample data or an earlier version of the data. You can just come in and roll all of your data sources back to their previous version. It's obviously also amazing at saving you in case you make a mistake and delete a record erroneously and you want to get it back. This feature allows you to just restore whenever you're ready. Let's have a chat about screen templates. So let's start with the low code screen template. So low code just means you need to use some JavaScript code in order to use these. So if you know a little bit of code, my guess is you'll probably be okay with all of these, but don't worry. If you don't know how to code, I've got lots of great screen templates coming for you in a second. So the first screen template is a form with dropdown from data source. As the name suggests, when you click on the dropdown, it will go and query a data source and retrieve the records. This is really useful if you've got a large list of records in the data source and you want a select list to kind of explicitly pick one. This template is a bit more sophisticated. Not only can you pick the country, but once you've picked the country, it then goes and queries the region, states, or provinces in that country and allows you to select them. So you can actually daisy chain them up. You can use a first select list to kind of filter the overall list and a second list to then retrieve only matching records from the same or a different data source. The next one is form with branching. So branching is basically the hiding or displaying of different sections in a form. So for example, if you had a question like, how did you hear about us, Facebook? As soon as somebody selects Facebook, you might then display 3 additional questions that are relevant to Facebook. But if they picked a Google ad, you might display different information. What were you searching for on Google, for example? So the point is you can now start to build out forms that are quite extensive, but the end user only sees the parts that are relevant to them. And then the final screen template is lists with enhanced formatting. So this is an example, and this really is a very, very small amount of code. I'm not even sure I would call it code. You might just describe it as like configuration parameters. And this enables you to start to do some really sophisticated things with the list from data source. So not only can you put maps or iframes into them, you can also reformat the dates very easily. And we've also added in the ability for you to add conditional information using if statements. So for example, in this list, you can see some of them are online and some of them have an address. If they have an address, then the map shows up. If they're online, the map doesn't show up. You can do that with the if statements that you can now add to your lists. So it's very powerful. I encourage you to go and grab this screen template just by going into Studio, clicking Add Screen, and then finding List with Enhanced Formatting. It includes instructions when you're in edit mode, and it has a support article if you need more information. no-code screen templates. So the first is a personalized list. So what's a personalized list? It's a list only showing information that's relevant to the user currently looking at it. So for example, this could be a list of only the news items that that user has created so that they can then modify them. We've also got quiz. So quiz, some of you might recall quiz and decision tree up until recently were low code. Now they are no code. So what I mean by that is you can build a quiz and you can build a decision tree without having to type a single line of code. You do not have to go into the JavaScript interface anymore. You can now do this entirely through drag and drop. It's built exactly the same way the previous feature worked, but now it's all in an interface without any code. It's much, much easier to build, and it fully supports drag and drop. So you can put anything you want in each question. You can put anything you want in each stage of your decision tree. Okay. Let's talk about some content style screens. So the first is we've got a new newsfeed with video and audio. This has been available for quite some time. It's been in the marketing template. So if you've played with the marketing template, you've already seen this. Now you can add it to any app just by using screen templates. We've got a very exciting content screen 6. And it's important that you pay attention to the 6 because if you go and use content screen 5, you're going to get a different content screen. So content screen 6 just incorporates a nice banner image and some accordions as a bit of a demonstration of a kind of a data style screen layout. Menu 8, we've been asked for years and years, can I have a grid style menu? We've now got one. As you can see, this is fully configured just through lists. So you just click on it and you'll be able to change anything, the icon, everything, and it lays out nicely. And it's responsive. So as you make it bigger and smaller, it will kind of add more rows or reduce rows. And then finally, we've got menu with admin view. As many of you would know, a lot of our app templates have an admin mode or features that are restricted to only some user types. This is a menu screen template where it's already got the admin menu built in, ready to go. You don't have to change any code as long as you've kind of matched the column name, which is something like admin, and it's a yes or a no. If they're admin yes, then it'll show up. Or if the user type equals admin, then the admin will show up. So this basically enables you to incorporate these features into your app very, very easily without having to go and find this feature in an existing template and copy it over. Other screen templates, so we've added in a couple of very popular survey types, particularly related to events, and we've seen a big surge, as I think most of us are hoping, in events now that kind of countries have started to remove restrictions around people getting together and meeting. So I imagine that the employee survey and the event feedback survey are going to see a really big boost in consumption, and then a kind of a necessary and very useful screen template, particularly as more and more apps are now requiring people to accept the terms before they can use it. We've built a terms screen, so you just drop this in and obviously change your content to match yours. Please don't use ours. This is a complete kind of set of dummy material. And then basically users will not be able to continue past this screen if you put it in your onboarding flow unless they've accepted it. Okay. Another exciting feature for you, last quarter, we integrated with Stripe. So Stripe, for those of you who don't know, is a payment processing provider. It's similar to PayPal, if you're familiar with PayPal. So why did we decide to integrate with Stripe? Well, we integrated with Stripe because it supports credit cards. It also supports lots and lots and lots of regional payment systems, specifically from countries like Germany and South America. It supports a lot of regional payment systems. So if you're building apps for different markets, it's likely Stripe will offer the payment, kind of the most popular payment option in those countries. My personal favorite reason is because it supports Apple and Google Pay, which means if you're on a compatible device, you basically just say, I want to pay with that. And then you agree to the kind of overlay and it submits all your credit card transactions. It's far, far more secure than using a credit card because Apple and Google, they generate one-time transaction information. So It dramatically reduces the likelihood of fraud by using these payment providers. It's also a really nice end user experience. I don't know for the people on the call, but I know wherever I'm on e-commerce sites now, if they offer Apple Pay or Google Pay, that's my preferred method of payment because it's just so much better than having to enter credit card details. And Stripe also supports web and mobile. So if you're on mobile, you get a really slick integrated payment system. It supports scanning your credit card if you don't want to use Google Pay or Apple Pay. And on web, it integrates with the browsers and it also can integrate with password managers. So if you store your credit card details in your password manager, again, integration and payment becomes really slick and easy. A couple of things to note before you get too excited about adding Stripe into your apps. The first thing is currently the App Store and Google Play require, if you're doing digital transactions, like purchasing something that is digital, music, videos, documents, services that are delivered via apps, you must use their in-app payment systems. But this is changing. South Korea and USA have both declared that Apple is not allowed to continue to force purchase only via their payment providers in app for digital goods, and that they must allow app providers to bring other payment solutions to the table. So at the moment, if you were trying to launch an app right now that had Stripe in it, there's a chance that Apple and Google might get upset with you if you're offering digital services and you're using Stripe to take payment. But in the future, you'll be able to use Stripe to take payment because various courts around the world are starting to basically say app stores can't restrict to using certain payment providers. And the primary reason why people don't want to use the payment providers offered by Apple and Google is because they take 15 to 30%. Stripe is generally under 3.5%. So as you can see, there's a huge difference there. So I'm really excited. It feels like Fliplet has added this feature at a really good time, just as app stores start to be mandated to open up and allow other payment providers. And this is a very easy feature to include in your app. It does require some low code. If you're interested in this, tick the feature in the companion app. We'll follow up with you. We can kind of talk about your ideas about how you could use Stripe. Okay. Other enhancements that we've included. So we've added in some improvements to notifications. The major one is we now support web notifications. Web notifications mean that you're getting notifications in your web browser. And this is huge. Not only is kind of accepting notifications in your browser really easy, it's also great to get notifications, not just on your phone, but if you've got the app on your computer as well, and you've allowed notifications, your browser will pop up the same notifications you're getting from Fliplet apps that you get on your phone now on your computer. The other really cool thing, you don't need to have the Fliplet app open when the notification arrives. The notification will come through even if the tab isn't open. And when you click on the notification, it'll take you to the relevant screen in the app. So this is a really amazing feature. We've really been using it a lot at Fliplet for our internal apps. And the other thing to note is it works on Chrome, it works on Edge, it works on Firefox, and it works on Opera. It also works on Android, Mac, and Windows. The only one it doesn't work on is iOS. If you want to do push notifications on iOS, you still have to distribute an iOS app, and you have to integrate with Apple to use notifications. You'll also note that Safari, the browser, isn't supported yet. And I think that's because Apple will probably use their existing push system, which is what they use on iOS when they deliver it on Safari. Until they do that, basically, you still need a mobile app on iOS to get notifications, but pretty much on every other platform, web apps will be able to deliver notifications to your users. The other big feature, and just in case you're wondering, this is an example of what it looks like in Chrome when you get a notification in the top corner of your screen. I'm sure everybody has probably seen these by now, and it might look a little bit different if you use Edge or a different browser, or if you use Windows. This is taken from a Mac. The other cool feature, which we've kind of included a screenshot of in this yellow box, is we've enhanced detection of the notification features inside apps. So now, let me back up a moment. lots of customers have told us that they want to be able to mandate their users turn on notifications. Notifications are a huge reason why people build apps in the first place. So historically, we haven't really been able to do very much about this, because if a customer says no, if not a customer, if a user says no, I don't want to enable notifications, there really hasn't been much we can do. Now we can tell the user, look, we know you've got notifications enabled, but you haven't got any pop-up alerts, or we know you've got notifications enabled, but you've turned off the sound. And you can then basically encourage / annoy the user until they do what you want. So we can also report to you if people have this feature enabled or not as part of analytics, or writing the data to a data source. So what this means is that if you want to follow up with your users and say, hey, I can see you haven't turned on notifications, can you tell me why? You can do that. So if you've got an internal communications app, you want to use it for emergency notifications, and you need everybody to have notifications enabled for that feature to work, the app can now detect whether the user has the right settings enabled, and we can tell you about it, and we can tell the user to turn the right features on as well. Recently, we've added antivirus file scanning to our infrastructure. So every file uploaded now gets scanned, and we'll be scanning all existing uploaded files in Q4, and then we'll be scanning them periodically. We don't anticipate there's a very high likelihood we're going to find many files that have viruses in them, because the majority of our customers who are able to upload into their enterprise accounts with Fliplet are in managed environments using devices that have antivirus software. So this is kind of us being extra safe. We're not expecting we're going to find many viruses on our infrastructure. And then finally, compatibility. So as I've already mentioned, iOS 15 has been launched, as well as iPad OS 15. Fliplet supports both of those. And we also support Android 12. On iOS 15 and Android 12, we found different issues when we tested the kind of final versions. For those of you who we believe your iOS 15 your apps will be affected by the issue we found on iOS 15. We've already notified you. If you haven't been notified by us, it's highly likely your apps won't be affected. And for users of Android 12, we found an issue, I believe, with the camera. So the only reason why you would need to kind of upgrade your apps is if your app's using the camera when Android 12 gets distributed. Okay, so a quick reminder. Don't forget to complete the during section in the companion app. You can see a lovely screenshot of it here. It's so that we can follow up with the relevant information for you. So if you haven't yet loaded up the companion app, scan the QR code. The QR code will take you straight to the app. And you can also see the URL here, which my colleague Sophie will be posting into the chat occasionally in case you would prefer to use your computer. New app templates. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Sophie, who's going to walk us through the new communication solution template.
Welcome, everyone. We're really excited to demo to you our new communication solution. This template was really built to kind of provide the necessary tools to promote company values, to engage users, and really simplify communications across different teams. We wanted to kind of solve the issue of there being so many different options for communication these days: emails, text messages, WhatsApp, social media, and really just bring everything into one place to allow for instant flow and better overall engagement with users. So we really want to emphasize here that this isn't just for corporate companies or small companies of any size, but really any type of team. So your soccer team, your book club, your friend group, anyone can kind of use this to communicate together. So just to go over with you some of the main features of our template, we'll go to our home main menu here. First and most importantly, our directory, which will house all of your different team members. Right in here, you can find their different contact information, so their email, their phone number, their LinkedIn if you have it, and be able to contact them right through here, as well as any other pertinent information that you wanted to list about them. So for example, interest, expertise. If it is a company, specific sectors or business roles can be put in there as well, of course, as an image of them. So your directory will really be your main housing of all the different users of the app and allow you to quickly navigate to them and start a chat from there. So on the subject of chatting, most importantly, our main communication solutions that are in this app, you will see here the chat function, which I just mentioned. You'll be able to go in and start a new chat with any of the team members in your group. We also have our team discussions, which you'll be able to share thoughts, engage in different type of discussions, kind of just chat with your team members back and forth. You'll see you have the comment section, so you'll be able to add comments to it, bookmark it if it's something that you're interested in, and also importantly, notifications. Receive any notifications happening around these types of discussions. All users will also be able to add new discussions to this component. We also have our knowledge sharing, which is similar to the team discussions, but this is going to be more of sharing knowledge with each other. So any books you have read, any podcasts, any information that you're seeing, interesting articles that you want to share with your team members, you can do that here. You also have the option to comment on them, to like, and to receive notifications on them. So that is our communication side of it. Also important on the communications front is our news. So you'll have news feeds where admins or administrators of the app can share news going on within the team and important information that we want the whole team to be involved in reading. Another fun feature to this app is our recognitions. So here we're allowing team members to recognize and give shout outs to each other. You'll see here and view all recognitions. You'll be able to go through and read different recognitions that people have posted to each other. So John scored a match in the football game on Sunday. If someone helped out with a team project, you can kind of come here and give a shout out and allow other team members to engage with it with our comments. And again, receiving like notifications, having the ability to like and bookmark. And each team member will be able to give recognition to some of the other team members. You'll see, you'll have the option of drop downs. So you can give multiple people recognitions if needed, or one person, and this will populate from your user list here. And we can go ahead and pick specific categories and give people their recognitions. Another fun feature is a resource center, which obviously can be important for, staying in the loop with things. Our document center, where you can house any pertinent documents. So here, any team rules and regulations. If there's a meeting agenda, we can all house these in our document library. Users have the ability to bookmark them as well. Get in touch if we need to reach out to any of our team admins. Also surveys to help engage your team members and get feedback on certain events or team socials or anything that you'd be interested in collecting info on. We can customize these surveys to have that information on them. So those are our main features of our communication solution. It's now live and ready to be used. So if you're interested in using this template for your team, it's very easy to add to your studio account. You can do this by clicking the home button, creating a new app with the plus button here, and going down to our communications and selecting use the template. Once you do this, you can create your own template and find out more about the exciting features. Thank you.
Okay, so communication app summary. If you'd like more information, you can go to help.fliplet.com/communication solution, or just go to help.fliplet.com and search for communications. And we have a full detailed video tutorial available. So you can completely follow the tutorial video, configure it and customize it to suit your needs anytime you want. You don't have to wait to kind of book a meeting with customer success if you want to get started straight away. Okay, so let's move on. So now it's up to me. I get to demo the new directory to you. So the directory I'm personally quite excited about. I know that's that's good and bad. It depends how excited you are about directories. I'm either kind of a bit sad because staff directories, how exciting can they be? But on the other hand, I'm pretty excited about the features that we've been able to put into our new directory template. So let me walk you through them. So the first thing is the directory template enables you to quickly find key people and key resources in your organization and also learn about other people quite quickly. The key features are we offer an org chart, which I'm going to demo to you. You have office information, including travel information, and some really cool integrations, which I'll show you in a second. We've got facilities and meeting rooms associated with each office. This has been a huge feature that's been massively requested because it's just really hard to stay on top of what facilities does each meeting room have. We have the ability for you to include an internal company events feed, which can be really useful for kind of sharing social events and training. And this can be filtered down by office. It could even be filtered down to floor or particular departments, as well as office if you had a really, really large kind of main office. You can connect to people via email, phone, which is a standard feature that Fliplet's had for a long time. You can also use third-party tools like Teams or Jabber. And one of my favorite features is you can actually personalize this. So you can create contact lists for projects, for events, for social activities, and I'm going to demo this to you. So let's dive into a demo. So I need to just jump out of there and jump into Studio. So here is the directory view. So this is kind of a fairly standard directory. You can see we've incorporated a couple of additional icons. We've turned on the sort feature, and the search feature works as it usually does. I'm going to pull up Frederick because he's been one of our main test users. So here's Frederick. As you can see here, Frederick is currently on vacation. We have the ability for you to track statuses, and I'll come back to these in a second. So Frederick has lots of information. You've got information to take you to his bio link on the website. You can chat with him through Jabber or Teams. You can call and email, and you've got these tabs. I'll explain these tabs in a second. So as you can see going down, we've got lots of information. I can click here to go to and find out who else is in the office. I can click here to see who else is in this country. I can see his current time, which is 1 hour off my current time. So he must be in continental Europe or Ireland. Depending on my maths. You can see Amory is Frederick's secretary. You can see that Jane, John, who looks a lot like Frederick, Sarah, all report to him. And you can see Artie is his manager. You can see when he became a partner and when he became a summer associate. Interesting enough, he became a partner before he became a summer associate. And you can see a list of my status information in this accordion to keep the list small, unless you really want to know. And then you can see that Frederick's on vacation currently and is just on vacation for today. So that's useful. So I'll know, don't call him today, call him tomorrow. Okay, so you've also got about information. We put the key contact information on a contact tab to keep the amount of scrolling to a minimum. We put the about information, which we think is what people want to find out about somebody when they're learning about someone new, but they don't need to see this information all the time. If I sit next to Frederick, I don't need to know about him every day. So we put it in an about tab. You can also see that I can expand recent projects. I can expand his educational information. And then I can go to private. So private is all of the sensitive information that is controlled and only available to certain people in the organization. And all of this is controlled with a new feature we've added called security rules, which I'm going to show you in a second. But before I do, let's just quickly dive into, and keep in mind, we're still building this, it's in beta, but let me dive into what it looks like on computer. So if I just refresh this screen, I have a feeling we've got a little bit of a bug with this bar being too big, but let's see if it affects us. Trust me, it will be nice and a single line by the time you guys get access to it. You'll notice up here that we've put in a more standardized top nav. We heard feedback from people that the navigation options that Fliplet's web apps offered were just a little bit too weird, and they wanted something a bit more normal. So we've taken our menu that would usually sit along the bottom, popped it at the top, tweaked it around a little bit, made it look a little bit more optimized for computer. You can see down here, you've got 2 columns of people. You can also filter As I apply these filters, it updates in real time, just like the directory normally does. So you can now kind of turn these on and off as you go. And of course, you've got search and things like this. You can also bookmark, which is a standard feature. And then if I click through to Frederick, I can see that I now get like a 2-column layout. So the information looks, it kind of maximizes the screen space that I've got on my computer. I can see it a lot better. I get a really big image, but it's over on the left. And I can still access all the other features. So let's talk about org chart. Org chart is a new feature that enables you to, well, see the org chart. And I think it looks pretty good. It not only looks good on computer, but I can also switch over and look at it really effectively on mobile. It also enables me to drill down. So if I come up here and I click on Artie, I can then see Artie, I can see Amory, I can see Frederick again, and I can see everybody else who reports into Artie. I can also scroll down and see everybody who reports into Amory who's been selected, and you can see there's 8 people there. I can then click on Vanessa, who has 7 reports. So I'm going to click on Vanessa, and here we go. So I can now see Vanessa reports into Amory. I can see everybody who is at the same level as Vanessa, who I was just browsing, and I can now see everybody who reports into Vanessa, such as Jimmy here, who has 12 direct reports. So anyway, I can just keep drilling down and down and down. This is a really exciting feature. And not only that, you can fully brand it. So you can make this look like it's on brand for your organization. So you can make it look really good as well. Okay, now let's jump back, because I now want to go back to Frederick. So I'm going to go back to Frederick quickly. And I'm going to show you some other features. I'm just going to dive into, so down the bottom here, you've got a number of options, and you can configure statuses here, which is pretty simple. You just create a status, set a start and end date. You can have multiple statuses occurring at the same time. You can also set the duration, like when a status occurs inside a day. So for example, every afternoon this week I'm out. That information can be presented, but only during the hours that you're out. You've got the events feed, we've got notification, you've got your profile, recent hires, the ability to log out, admin options if you're an admin user. But let's have a look at offices. So we've only got a couple of offices in here. There's nothing special about this office search. It's very similar to the office search that you guys might have seen in our ROMs app. If I go into New York, it gets a little bit more interesting. So I can see the meeting rooms, I can see the key contacts. This enables me to go back to the directory. I can request an Uber, which takes me directly to the right drop-off point. And if you don't like Uber or you want more options, we can also support Lyft as well, and potentially any other services, ride-sharing services. This was originally requested by a US law firm who basically said, look, if you can make it easier to get rides from one like the local airport to the door, particularly for people who haven't done that trip before, that would be amazing. Turns out it's surprisingly easy to integrate with. You can also see the floor plan. You can see the current temperature. You can see the local time, and you can see other relevant details. Let's have a look at some meeting rooms. So here are the meeting rooms that are available, and I can click on them and I can see some information about them. I can also search and filter by where they are, what floor they're on. So if you've got 50 different meeting rooms across your large New York office, but you're only interested in the ones that are on the floor, or your floor or the floor above you, you can filter to that floor. Also, meeting rooms can have facilities, and you can again filter on these. So you can see here, this has an electric whiteboard. I love electric whiteboards. Maybe this is the reason why I'm going to try to book this meeting room. So, so it has some really, really exciting features, and all of these are configurable via the admin screen. Let's go back to the directory. Let's kind of quickly look up Frederick again. Oh, I actually think I'm on the wrong version of this screen. Oh, there we go. There's Frederick. Okay, cool. So, so my name's Ian, as you may know, and I've been working with Frederick recently on a project. And you know what? I keep having to find his details. I keep having to try to get in touch with him. So rather than just keep running search after search after search, what I can do is I can put him on my important people list, or I can create a new list called Soccer Buddies. And I can either make this a private list or make it so that anybody I add can also modify it, meaning I'm not the person who has to maintain the list. Anybody on the list can maintain it. kind of similar to like WhatsApp groups and things like this, if you were to make everybody else an admin. Now, this is not information shared globally across your organization. This is only relevant to the people who want this list. So I can do save and add. There we go. I've now added Frederick into my soccer buddies list. So let's go and have a look at my soccer buddies list. So I go to my lists. You can see here I've got important people, and these are the important people. And then I can go to soccer buddies, and there's Frederick. If I want to add somebody else, I can just go back, look them up in the directory, add them to the list as well. But what I can also do is I can go into a list, five-a-side football. Oh, Frederick's very popular. Chess club. Hopefully this has a few more. No, okay. Going back to important people then. So in important people, what I can do is, let's say Fidelia has left my important people list. I don't know why, but all I do is I go in here and I can say, oh, actually, Fidelia, I'm just going to remove you off that list. And now Fidelia is no longer on this list. So when I come back into this list, Fidelia is gone. And I can just add and remove people. So there's some really exciting personalization features that we've incorporated, not only statuses that enable you to transfer information about what you're doing to other people to help them make better decisions before they call, before they email, before they chat with you, but we've also added in lists so that instead of your directory being a sprawling, huge flat list, which you then have to copy information out into a document in order to kind of track who's on this project or who am I playing soccer with this week. Actually, you can now just build your own contact list directly into the app, and the contact list will follow you around. So I can build them on my phone and access them on my computer, or vice versa. And then finally, let me show you an admin feature. So we've added in this feature called security rules. So basically a security rule, sorry about this white bar, is a rule that controls what sensitive information somebody can see. So once you've told the app what fields are sensitive, you can then assign specific rules about who can access them. So the way you do this is you pick a field and you say equals. And so actually that's a bad example. So let's say that basically this rule applies to everybody who is a partner. I add the criteria. You see it appears there. I can add as many criteria as I want. Then I say, all right, I want partners to be able to see all emergency contact information for everybody, but only partners. If you're not a partner, you should not be able to see emergency contact information. And who can they see? So here I might say, well, the title is equals, and I might say they can see the emergency contact information for everyone that has associate in their title. So, and now I click save rule. And what this does is it enables the security system to now, when a partner looks up an associate, it will automatically return their emergency contact information. And this feature, as I mentioned earlier, is using app actions or actions in Fliplet. And so what this screen does is basically enables you to test the action works. So you put in the name of the rule you're testing, who you're executing as. So in this case, I might enter a partner's email address, and then I might enter an associate's email address and click show result. And it would then return, as if I was that user accessing that result, it would then return and say, hey, here's the information that I found processing this security rule. Is this correct? And if it's wrong, you can go and fix it. So we've built in a little test harness as well. So I think I've covered everything that I needed to cover in the directory demo now, highlighting some really exciting new features that we've built in. And additional features that I wasn't able to demo. So SSO, I've already kind of covered that it supports web and mobile. You'll also be able to link directly into specific searches or specific profiles from other sites. So this is really exciting because if you're going to embed the web version into your intranet, for example, and other pages on your intranet need to link to, say, a specific list of everybody who's in the specific practice or a particular department, you can do that as well. So it links nicely, particularly in the website, into other sites. And then you've also got the beta is available now. So get in touch with the customer success team or your account manager if you'd like the beta. And then the final version will be due in October. Okay, now let's jump into Barbara, who's going to tell us about the innovation management template.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to show you today our new innovation management template. So the reason why we decided to create the innovation management template was because we noticed that most organizations have a slow, unstructured, and very manual process to collect ideas. With that in mind, we developed a template that optimizes the process of collecting ideas, enabling our clients to create innovation challenges and collect valuable insights and ideas from their staff and their customers. And these ideas can help them strengthen the quality of service they provide while reducing costs. Now, let me give you one overview of the functionalities we have. The first screen the user will see after they log in is the home screen. In the home screen, they will be able to see the latest challenges as well as the latest ideas that were submitted to the challenges and more. We adjusted the appearance so that it looks good on mobile devices as well as on desktop. Now, from the home screen, when they click on View All Challenges, they are taken to the Open Challenges screen. And challenges are created to collect ideas related to different topics. So you can direct the user to submit ideas related to problems you want to solve or issues that are not. And in the detail view of the challenges, we added 2 buttons. The first one, See Related Ideas, will show a list of all the ideas that were submitted to this specific challenge. And the other one, Submit Idea, will take the user to a form so they can submit an idea to that specific challenge. Now, in this form, the user can give a title for their idea. They can talk a little bit about what is that idea, describe it, add some of the benefits, and also detail the resources that will be required to deliver this idea. They can also optionally opt to have their name hidden from other users, and they can tag the idea. Now, when they submit the form, users that opt in to be notified about one of the categories that were tagged here in this idea will be notified about this new idea that might interest them. Besides that, when they submit it, they will see a confirmation screen from which they can see the idea that they submitted, and they can share this idea with other people. And the idea is to have more people coming to the app using this kind of a resource, such as the share button. Ideas that are submitted can be seen by all the users, and users can also interact with ideas. So they can like, comment, bookmark these ideas. Now, admin users have the option to review these ideas straight from the app. So let me go back here to the home screen. This admin button will be shown only for admin users. If they go to manage ideas, they will see a list of all the ideas that were submitted. And from the detail view of the idea, they can click on the review idea button to leave their comments and update the status. So they can mark it as approved if it is starting. They can mark it as deferred if it's not a current priority, and then they can also mark it as a project if the idea is actually being implemented. They also can add notes that will be seen only by the author of the idea, as well as public comments that everyone will be able to see in the idea screen. And once they submit this form, the author of the idea will be notified that a new review was submitted to one of their ideas. Now, besides notifications about new ideas, users will also be notified about new challenges related to the categories they are interested in. So if they go to their edit profile form, they have the option to tag what are specific departments or categories that they want to be notified about. And admins can use the Manage Communication screen. We'll go back here to the menu. And we click on Manage Communications. They can use this screen to send custom email and push notifications to users. And these can also be targeted according to the user interests here. So they can select what are the categories and departments.
If you'd like more information, we've got a full tutorial available on our support site. Okay, so what is coming up? So we are going to be working on an e-learning app template. This has been mentioned a while ago. The whole purpose of this is to offer staff or client-facing digital training on mobile and web that's highly interactive and engaging. This is going to include courses, lessons, and tests. It's going to include certifications and certificates when you pass. It's going to include notifications and reminders. It will have powerful reporting for trainers to understand how much engagement their course or individual users is having with the material, and it will include data import and export so data can be centrally tracked. We're also upgrading the event app at the moment to offer some specific web-based features, including a reception screen and a session screen where you'll be able to embed YouTube or Zoom or links to other providers to create a very interactive, virtual branded event app. We're also adding in the ability to support multiple events in a single event app. So when your users log in, they will be asked which event, if they've been given access to multiple, they would like to attend. And this will save you having to build and deploy multiple apps. We think this is going to be a huge time saver. We know that some clients have over 20 event apps in their account. We hope that this will make it far more manageable for people to be able to quickly add an event to an existing event app and reuse a lot of its functionality and branding. We're also going to be doing a marketing app upgrade. The primary purpose of this upgrade is to take all of our code features, which includes the benchmark, decision tree, quiz, assessment, maps, analyze content, and calculator, and make it no code. So you can see here in this screenshot, when I click on one of the quiz questions, I now just get to fill in what's the quiz question, what are the answers, and mark the relevant one with bracket answer. And then the quiz will do its magic and give me a score if I select it, if I select the correct answer or not. So it's really easy to use the quiz and decision tree feature that have already been converted to no code, with the rest of the features coming soon in the next big upgrade to the marketing app. We're also going to be upgrading ROMs. We know this is an incredibly popular app with our customers. So the key changes that we're going to be making is we're going to be creating, with app actions, automated daily attendance reports for office managers. So we know that some people have to log in either early or late in the evening in order to check attendance numbers and manage attendance. Soon, logging in late just to check attendance numbers will be a thing of the past. It will end up in your inbox automatically. We're also going to add support for secretaries to manage other users' bookings. We're going to add guest health surveys so that people who are coming into your building pass the same health surveys that your staff need to pass. We're going to give people the ability to collect vaccination data directly via the app if that's what they choose to do. And we're going to optimize emails and notifications. We've noticed as people begin using this app a lot more that the volume of emails and notifications it sends can be a little bit annoying if you're booking for really long periods of time. So to kind of ease that, we're going to be reviewing all of the emails and notifications and optimizing them so that they're really helpful and definitely not annoying. Other planned features, we're going to be building out some additional screen templates. So this will include LFD detail view enhancements, which will be using the features that I've shown you in the directory. So you'll be able to add accordions, you'll be able to add tabs, and you'll also be able to add lists of related information such as people, which you can see an example of a list of people here. We're also going to be building a screen template for poll and also one that supports type ahead. And in Sophie's demo of the communication template, you saw the multi-select in action where you can pick multiple values and they kind of line up in a field. You'll be able to add that feature into your app using this form type ahead screen template soon. Other features, we're going to be working a lot on localization. This means dates and numbers will appear in the relevant format based on your device's settings. So for example, if your device is set to Portuguese, then you will get Portuguese dates. So instead of March, you will get the equivalent of a Portuguese month name. And instead of commas to separate thousands, you'll get a decimal. And instead of a decimal to separate decimal places, you'll get a comma. So basically this will all happen automatically. This is going to be affecting list from data source, and it's also going to affect forms. We're also going to be adding in translation for apps and components, which means that your apps will be completely able to operate in other languages. And we're also going to be enhancing our form password field to add a minimum level of complexity to kind of meet most customers' standard password complexity features. So moving on to the final section for today, our key themes for 2022. So in 2022, Fliplet will be focusing on supporting apps in non-English languages. We think this is going to be huge. We know how many of our customers operate in languages other than English and in countries other than English-speaking countries. We believe that this is going to give our customers the ability to produce a lot more apps across their business effectively. We're going to completely rebuild the list from data source feature to support an entirely new set of really advanced lists that can be completely built with drag and drop and support far more configuration and different layout options than are currently available. So watch out for this. It's going to be a huge feature. We know how popular list from data source is. Once this is available, we think that people are going to be able to do some amazing things by linking data from data sources directly into their apps with whole new designs that we've never imagined. We're also going to add in the abilities for apps to open other apps and also apps to automatically open when you tap on URLs. So similar to what happens if you have Twitter or Facebook on your phone and you visit a Facebook or a Twitter URL, it loads the app. Our apps will soon be able to do the same thing. The other thing is if you've got the ROMs app and you've got the directory app and you don't want to duplicate people's staff data across both, you'll be able to link the ROMs app and to load the directory app and display a relevant person's information. And when people click back, it will return them to the ROMs app. So this, we believe, is not only going to make it a lot easier for people to avoid duplicating data and functionality across apps, it's also going to open up a whole new suite of capabilities as apps can intelligently use features from other apps. We already support linking with third-party apps, assuming that they allow us to. So if you've got any questions about how this feature is going to be used, please get in touch. And then you've already started to see a little bit of the web app UI that we've started to build into the directory app. We intend to extend these design changes and make sure that our web apps feel really well designed, but really intuitive on computers for our users. So we're intending to improve that in 2022 as well. The other things we're going to be doing is a minimum of 4 new app templates. We're going to be upgrading all of our templates with features and also to use our new actions feature so that things are automated. We're going to add quite a lot of new screen templates, and we're also going to be offering a suite of pre-built app actions so that you can very rapidly utilize actions in your existing apps. So that brings us nearly to the end. In case you're wondering, please don't forget to fill in the during the webinar form. You can complete that now. You can scroll all the way to the bottom. And we're really looking forward to seeing what you got the most out of today and what you'd like us to follow up with you about. We do have a couple of upcoming webinars. So we've got one about increasing communication and collaboration within your firm using apps. That's going to cover a whole suite of internal app use cases that can increase communication and collaboration. And we've also got an upcoming webinar on productivity engagement tools for lawyers. So this is going to be about how apps can be used to increase productivity and engagement, specifically in relation to lawyers. You can request more information for those in the companion app during the webinar form, but you can also go to fliplet.com/webinars for more information. So if anybody's still around, and oh goodness, people did stick around. So thank you so much for being flexible. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully answering some questions from attendees.
Hi, Ian. Thank you very much for this webinar. We did receive a few questions, so I'll go in the order in which they were asked because they were according to the agenda. The first one was regarding the screen templates. So there was a question about how is the quiz template different than a survey one?
That's a great question. So the survey is a pretty straightforward form. You just fill it in and then it saves the information at the end. There's no real interactivity other than it validates your input. Whereas the quiz is way more interactive. So the quiz will take you through a series of questions. You can also have content. It's in a slider, so it's very interactive. The slides are sliding in as you progress through the quiz. as you answer the questions, you can either give your users feedback in real time, you got that right, you got that wrong, or you can save it all up, and then at the very end of the quiz, you get a results screen. So if I just jump back into the relevant slide, past the videos, you can see an example of the results screen just here, where you can see you completed the quiz. Well done, 66%, you got 2 out of 3 correct, and then it offers a series of features at the bottom. So that's the difference. That's kind of the quiz, very different to the survey.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this answers the question. The next one was just regarding the Stripe integration. So does it support subscriptions, or is it just for payments?
That's a great question. Oh, I can't believe I missed that. Fantastic. Thank you, whoever asked that. It does support subscriptions. Actually, that was the main reason why we were originally asked by a client to add this feature. So yes, it does support subscriptions. You can also do one-off payments.
Okay, thank you.
And just to actually add, one of the other reasons why we went with Stripe is it's incredibly sophisticated about what you can use it for. It's got an enormous amount of options built into it. It's really best of breed, which is why it's so popular with developers. And that's the main reason why we incorporated it. Fliplet also uses it to take payment for our kind of lower priced accounts, the people who are purchasing. And we extensively use a whole range of their subscription features. So yeah, not only are we pretty good at integrating it now, but also it has an amazing set of features.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question related to the directory app, and would meeting rooms integrate with internal systems that are currently used to reserve or book?
Yep. Yeah, so we can integrate. I mean, we have kind of standard integration mechanisms. So like through database or API, obviously integrating with other APIs, particularly cloud-based APIs, is now a lot easier thanks to Actions, because it can just do it automatically. So yes, if you've got an existing system and you want to pull in the check-in, check-out data from that and make it visible inside the directory or inside ROMs, you could definitely do that.
Okay, thank you.
The question correctly.
Yes, I think that was the question. These are all the questions that I received. So I think we can wrap this up.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I hope you found the companion app useful. That was a little bit of a test that Sophie and I imagined. Not only did we think that people might find it useful to have a list of what we're talking about that they can just tick as they go through, and as they say, "Ooh, I find that interesting, I'd like more information," it will hopefully save you having to take copious notes. And plus our account management team will then be able to follow up with you with really relevant information. So if you haven't had a chance to complete the companion app, please do. Yeah, we thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope you have a fantastic evening or afternoon.
Thank you.